Have you ever wanted to launch a podcast, but you think it's too late? You think that the industry is too saturated. There's too many people that already have one. No one will listen. Well, today we're going to talk about 3 reasons launching a podcast is your next gold mine. And all of you know, this is, we're on episode 21 of Max Potential Money, this next season of what used to be called Max Potential Habits. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that podcasting is my jam. I love it. It has changed my life, rocked my world, not only because when I was on food stamps, I listened to podcasts to help me get unstuck, but because when I started my own podcast, it grew my business really beautifully. And I'm going to explain to you why you need to launch your own podcast and give you a link to the upcoming NFA Launch Your Podcast workshop. This is going to be an ongoing workshop that I keep doing over and over because I have so many people asking me about how to create a successful podcast. So I want you there because if you're listening to this or watching this right now, you know that I have built my entire business really through podcasting. So I want to teach you the same things. So first, if this is your first time here, this is a special release today. We usually are only doing 1 episode release a week, but I realized I got to talk to my community about this workshop that's coming up, and it's coming up on May 7th. So I wanted to release this today so that you can gain access to the workshop if it's something that you're interested in. And of course, if you know people who might be interested in it, I want them to be there too. So let's dive into the meat of today's topic. This is going to be kind of a quick deep dive, but first I'm on Zoom today recording because I want to share my screen and I want to show you some stats that I'm reading. So if you think that it's too late to be a podcaster, I want you to think again. Okay. So this is a really cool research study done by Edison Research and in 2020. And they're saying that 75% of Americans are now familiar with podcasting. 75%. Okay. This is approximately 212 million people and an increase of more than 10 million in 1 year. 55% have listened to a podcast. I'm assuming when they say Americans, they're talking about the United States. It's funny when they do that because there's, United States. Okay, so we're talking United States stats. Podcast listeners have grown 37.5% in 3 years. Okay. And interestingly, I also read an article by Forbes this morning, and they were talking about how the age of listeners is getting younger and younger. So it's not that they're losing older listeners, it's that more people are adopting the platform. More people are listening to podcasts. So if you think it's too late, it's not, I promise you. Look at these numbers if you're watching this on YouTube. So this is the percent of Americans that have listened to a podcast between 2017 and 2020. It has just increased, right? So 37% of US people listen to podcasts monthly, 37%. It's grown 54% in 3 years, monthly listeners. And half of Americans ages 12 to 34 listen to monthly podcasts. Okay, so monthly podcast growing fastest among older Americans, which is awesome too, because of course, if you're running a business, those are the people that are going to be able to work with you because they have the money. Kids listening to podcasts, not as likely that they're going to pay you for your services. Most Americans more Americans listen to podcasts than go to church. Wow, that's fascinating to me. I'm not surprised, but one thing that I am reading, and when I was looking up trends in podcasting, is that of course, because of COVID, people are home and they're listening a lot more. Once they adopt the platform and they get used to it, it's something that they want to go back to time and time again. So this is a growing industry, and you think about Clubhouse and how powerful that platform's been. That's a way to make money through audio. I don't know if anyone here has listened to podcasts is on Clubhouse. It's a really cool platform for speaking. There's no video, it's not recorded, it's conversations, and podcasting is often that way. So I want you to consider, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so I can focus back on you. I want you to consider, if you think I want to launch a podcast, I'm scared and I don't know what to do, attend my workshop. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. But if you want to check out the workshop page, it's launchyourpodcastworkshop.com. Launchyourpodcastworkshop.com. It's going to be a 4-hour deep dive and give you all the A to Z tools to launch your podcast in 4 hours. That's what I did. I didn't overcomplicate it at all. If you listen to my last episode, I talk about how to not complicate things so that you can save time, make more money, right? So I want the idea for you to be, oh, I could launch a podcast quickly. It doesn't need to be this grandiose thing. Of course, there's huge podcasts out there that reach millions of people. My podcast right now is in 55 countries. It's been downloaded over 30,000 times. And in some arenas, that might be a small number, some that's huge. But what it's done is built my whole business. So it doesn't matter the number of followers you have. It's how you speak to your audience directly, and for these 3 reasons. So these are the 3 reasons that launching a podcast is your next gold mine. Number 1, practice speaking and teaching. So it gives you practice speaking and teaching. Speaking is huge. If you're a coach or an online entrepreneur, you got to learn how to speak articulately. And it's not that you have to be a master speaker. You need to be authentically yourself, but you need to practice speaking about what you are sharing with your community, right? It gives you a ton of practice doing that. It gets people to hear your voice, get to know you, and you get to start teaching what it is that you know. This does what number 2 is awesome, build your expert platform. So I want you to remember, if you're new in the game of business building, or you haven't started a podcast yet, and you're like, have that itch and you think like, I want to, but I'm a little scared, you got to start somewhere, right? So imperfect action is better than no action. It is better than perfect inaction, right? Imperfect action is better than perfect action. I had to say that twice, just make sure I said it right. So you want to start taking steps in the direction. And I promise you, your first episode is going to sound very different than your 200th episode. So I'm on episode 20. I think I said 21 for this season. Before that, I had done 117 episodes. There's somewhere around 90 interviews in there. I have been practicing. Now I've been on 50 other people's podcasts, being a guest on theirs. And that's the power of what podcasting does for you. It gives you that practice. You start to understand how to talk about what it is you're doing. You start to share with people from your perspective. They start to see you as an expert. So in number 3, it converts through building the know, like, and trust factor. Okay, so I'm going to go through these 3 and break them down. Number 1, practice speaking and teaching. Number 2, build your expert platform. And number 3, converts through building the know, like, and trust factor. Okay, so the practice speaking and teaching is essential for really any business. You're speaking even in your emails and in your copy. You're speaking, when you talk to people about, let's say you have a sales call or you have a consult, you're practicing speaking. So podcasting gives you a lot of practice with this, and it's a really easy way. I have a YouTube channel and a podcast that this gets released on, but you could just do the podcast if video freaks you out. And I don't want you to think I've got to do video. Yes, video is a wave of the future or is happening now, but let's say you just want to be a really powerful podcaster and you just want your voice to be heard. That is a growing industry. So don't think that you've been left behind and then it's too late to start. Building your expert platform is this thing where it gives you content weekly to share, which builds your expert platform. It gives you an authority position where people go, oh, you have a podcast? Cool. I want to hear it. It gives you free content to give to people. So I've built I've built the following here by sharing with people, hey, if you like podcasts, check this out. And it's free. People don't have to opt into anything. They don't go like, I don't want to hear that, or why are you giving this to me? If they're people who listen to podcasts, they're like, awesome, thanks for sharing. So it's such an easy way to start connecting with your community. And then that conversion part, converting through building the know, like, and trust factor. So this is an interesting one because, marketing research will show that it takes 7 to 8 touch points, follow-ups, touch points on average to connect with somebody to where they want to convert to buying something from you, working with you, whatever that is. I would say the cool thing about podcasting is you're reaching a mass audience Oh, my printer's doing something over there. You're reaching a mass audience and it's multiple touch points. So I had the coolest experience this morning. I'm literally sitting at my desk, typing this stuff up, going like, I always just do like a little page of notes, and I was looking up research, and I checked my email real quick, and I got an email from a listener. I'm pretty sure she found me through the podcast. I don't remember initially, but it was through the podcast. And she's come to a workshop of mine, and she's been in my community for a while. And, she emailed me to say, I've got to work with you. I've been listening to your episodes. And I can't tell you, I've built how many people that have come to me that way. I've built my whole business this way mostly. And even on top of that, the joint ventures that I have are through people listening to my podcast, finding my posts about the podcast, even if they didn't listen. Wow, my printer's really doing something over there. I wonder if I should walk and turn that off. I'm going to, because otherwise it's going to drive us all nuts. I think that my printer's broken. Uh-oh. It did this in the middle of the night the other night and kept me up all night, and I didn't realize what it was in my sleep. So funny. Okay. I think it's stopping, I hope. Okay, so back to the point. Yeah, it's such a powerful way for you to build your business. And in the workshop, I'm going to teach you all of this. So you're going to go from vague idea all the way to knowing all the tools to be able to launch your podcast, to have your first intro episode, to know what to say in that, and then to know how to start broadcasting it out so that you can start building your expert platform and building that know, like, trust factor over time. So I love it when I get emails like this where people say, I've been listening to you on the podcast and I really want to work with you. And I go, awesome, because what I'm saying is resonating with them. What I'm saying is reaching the right target market. What I'm saying is coming across as I understand them, because I do. When I share these episodes, it's because I listen to what my people say, and I then go, oh, everyone needs to hear this, because this is a common pattern I'm hearing for all the people I'm working with. Oh, this would be great to add to my podcast. So there are so many benefits to doing it, and it really could be your next gold mine. If you take the leap and aren't scared to launch, I am your person to help you out. And, if you're here, you could go back and listen to any episodes of mine that you want and know that I really care about podcasting. Podcasting is one of my all-time favorite things. I know that it works to build your business, and I know that you can do it if you have that itch. I want you at the workshop. So go to launchyourpodcastworkshop.com. I want to see you there. So until next time, I felt super inspired to share this with you today, because I know how many people have asked me, like, how did you start a podcast? And, what do you do to make it work? And how can I do one? And then they feel overwhelmed and scared, and they don't know the tech tools and all those things. And I'm going to give you all of that in one workshop in 4 hours, Friday, May 7th. I want you there. Okay. Till next time, NSA money making high fives.